Hi everyone, welcome back to Insurance Friday, where we try to do something on the for the insurance sector every Friday, whether it's a roundtable, a webinar, share a newsletter, share a freebie ebook. So we are trying to do something for the insurance sector, and we've picked Friday as the day. Thank you so much for joining in. Warm welcome back to our previous webinar attendees. We are discussing how to reduce closure cycles through data driven science in sales. I have a very special guest. His name is Dr. JP. Uh, as an introduction, there's just so much to say about him. He is the co-founder and vice president at Nanobi. He has the exposure to the insurance sector for more than 27 years. He started his career in India in the early 90s and has worked both with core insurance companies, MNC IT companies in insurance. He's worked with several markets, right from USA on one side to Australia on the other, across life, non-life, pension. Then he has also co-authored textbooks for the Insurance Institute of India for associate diploma courses and published over 50 articles in eminent publications like the Geneva Association, Asia Insurance Review, Hindu Business Line, Live Mint, Financial Express, and he's completed a PhD in health insurance. So that still not is enough for Dr. JP. So Dr. JP, thank you so much for joining us. If you could please also share a few lines about yourself, your experience in this domain, and then take the session forward.
Yeah, thank you, Shibani. It's a great opportunity for me to be with you people, and I am very glad to know that initiatives that you are taking to keep the audience more engaged every Friday. That is very important because the continuous learning and getting an expert views is one of the way how you can actually grow your professional career. That is very important, and I'm very glad to know about your initiatives, and I'm being glad to be part of the entire team right now. Hello viewers, and I'm Dr. Jayaprakash, having more than 27 years of experience right now across various segments related to insurance. And basically, I started my career as a in a branch, insurance branch in LIC of India, and I have worked in various departments of LIC of India, including the IT department. Then I moved to iFlex Solutions, which is now called Oracle Financial Services, and worked on strategies and implementing projects and data warehousing and all. Then I moved to MetLife, and I was working on heading the enterprise risk department of a MetLife insurance company. And then from 2012, we are part of Nanobi Data and Analytics. So that's very brief about me. So I would welcome any type of questions related to insurance or technology or systems, anything related to that during at the end of this webinar. So actually, when Shibani asked me to just give a talk about reducing closure cycles through data, so basically, what I really felt is basically, like insurance is more related to data, and data is very close to me. So the subject of data. So I thought, no, better. It'll be fun to actually to discuss more about how to reduce the closure cycles using data. That is where and all. So the PowerPoint presentation is just like a walking stick. Basically, I'm just following you through the PowerPoint presentation. Anytime you feel like you can actually stop me, ask me questions also. I'll be very happy to explain more about the points what we are discussing on that one. So I'm just taking you through that one. So now, basically, I hope that most of the audience are more from the sales background. I also hope that someone from IT side of insurance company or brokers will also be part of it. So I am just trying, so I could make out that it is a heterogeneous group, basically. So I'm trying to cover many aspects related to each one of them, basically. So, but since the topic is more related to insurance sales, it is more revolving around the insurance sales. That's where I'm coming from. So the beauty of insurance sales always I like, mainly because I find that if you are selling say for example a credit card, it's all more related to your credit worthiness, basically. And if you are selling say SIM cards, basically it is more related to whether you have the capability to pay say every month bills. That's all. But when it comes to insurance, basically the insurance salesperson he plays many role. Basically, like he should know about his medical history, and also know he should play like a like legal expert also, because to understand is any moral hazards, basically, that way. And also he need to know about the financial condition. So all roles, actually, you come to know about various things about a person. And basically, if we carry out very correctly, basically, it is endless, because no, it is not like you sell one sim card, after that you forget about it. You sell one credit card, you forget about that. But it is not related to when you come to insurance, mainly because when you are doing insurance sales, there is always an opportunity to upsell, because it is what we are trying to do in insurance is basically a risk management. We are trying to cover the risk, and the risk keep on growing. For example, in last December, the risk was not that much when it comes to the health. Now the risk has grown in form of pandemic. Corona has taken all our lives, basically. No, it has shattered the lifestyle of all the people, so the new risk has emerged. So lot of risk keep on emerging, and it is the duty of an insurance salesperson to actually know to cover the risk. And there is always a medium for the insurance salesperson to have continuous interaction with the customer to assess the risk. That's fair and all. So that's why if you look at the Insurance Act itself, it actually empowers the agent as a primary underwriter. That's very important. So he underwrites the risk of the person whom he meets. That's very important. So if you look at that insurance person, basically, I have seen, basically, if a person is taking up an insurance sales job, the first year it will be, or I would say that first 2-3 months will be much easy for him to complete a sale, because no, first thing he will be knocking the doors of his close friends, neighbors. So basically, no, it is insurance is not being sold, it is always pushed. So it's always bought, basically, like, so they will buy the policies. But once after say 3-4 months, he will start facing the problem in selling the policies, mainly because he would have got exhausted with his friends list. So then it happens through the networking. The networking comes where I would say that if we see, we actually appreciate the Facebook or LinkedIn these times. I would say that the insurance profession, like no leveraged on the networking, the power of networking ages before. So, and second thing is that there are thousands of products, basically, like in insurance. So it is not only about networking. It is like I would say like a matchmaking, basically, like when we go to a matrimonial site, uh, you see a lot of, if you are a bride or a groom, basically you see a lot of photographs, and each one will look like a match for you. But where you have to go dive down deep into the details to understand basically who will be the best match. Typically, similarly, there are more than 50 insurance companies in India, and there are more than 1,000 products, basically. So when we go into the go to meet a prospect, or even meet a customer for cross sell or upsell, basically, like we see a lot of products. It is a mammoth exercise to understand which product is actually a match for the correct match for the customer. So I would always say that no, this is like a policing job, basically, but not with the powers of a police. I used to say that no, basically, when we are traveling in a traffic, when we see one policeman, we normally get alert about, we become more conscious about the traffic rules completely, uh, because they have the power. Because any policeman, though he is one person and he's seeing some thousand people before him, but each of the thousand people are seeing that one policeman as not an individual policeman, but as a representative of the entire police force. So that's why nobody will take a panga with a policeman, mainly because if something goes wrong, they will come and thrash you on that one. Similarly, like an insurance agent is actually representing a insurance industry. Though you are one person, single person, you are representing an insurance sector, basically, which is into the risk management. So who you have been given the power of actually assessing the risk of the prospect. So that is the beauty of insurances I always admire about. So how the insurance sales has changed, basically, like in the past, basically there were only agents. Now the brokers came. So brokers are more supposed to be of more corporate and basically they are representative of the customer, whereas the agents are representative of the company. Then the competition actually advanced, where online came into the as a competition on that one. And there are a lot of products, embedded products, like, no, for example, Airtel has come out with the insurance coverage for all the prepaid customers for certain limits and all. And how the now this insurance digital onboarding have come, basically, like, there is no need to meet the people, where we can actually upload all the documents through your mobile phone. And from an insurance company side also, there is a straight through processing have come, like, no, like, so you once you give it, there is a green channel where there is no need for even underwriting, automated underwriting. So people get the policies immediately, like, no, within a day they're able to receive the policies. So everything has been set, though the competition is growing, the technology is also growing. For example, lead management companies are there, like Lead Square, basically, where they actually, as I told you earlier, though the network actually gets limited after some time, there are companies like lead management companies which actually procure leads for the agents. So the shift, there is a shift from the professionals paradigm shift, basically, where instead of focusing on networking, these lead management companies help you to actually focus more on your skills, so that you hone your professional skills, leave the problem of the lead management, so that, no, the leads are supplied to them. And all also, it also gives the probability of how to close this a particular sale, what are the opportunities of a cross selling, upselling, and all those things. So the shift is more on the professional skills than leads. So initially, when the agents start their career, they focus on networking. After some time, the leads are coming, it is the more focus is more on the closures, that's where and all. And not only that, there are a lot of financial engineering for new products, like, for example, in 2000, in mid of 2000, basically the ULIP products came, where it's a clone of a mutual fund and insurance. And a lot of products are coming. For example, you must be heard about a parametric insurance. Parametric insurance is more of saying that based on certain events, where the insurance amount is allocated. Basically, for example, if there is a typhoon coming, or if there is a uh, some sort of some earthquake coming, there is some events, basically, where those parametric insurance doesn't promise you the indemnity. But there are certain, for example, the best example I would say is like agriculture insurance, where, no, that is the insurance cannot cover the exact losses, but based on, say, heavy rainfall or something like that, they actually devise the plan in such a manner that some money in the form of claim actually is settled with the farmers, that way. So a lot of products are getting evolved, and there are lot more products are getting evolved, because I would say that the insurance company is running only on data. And you know how fast the data is actually growing right now, like in the terms of big data, where actually, no, the world, whatever it is happening around the world, we are able to see anything in the form of a data, that way. So insurance company, that's why they say that the data is the new oil. But for insurance, it's actually old oil, because the entire insurance industry is built upon data only. And we would say that, no, that the first insurance policies were issued way back in 18th century, marine insurance policy. And for issuing that policy, data was the main criteria for that one. And after that, a new profession was born, like actuarial science, which is actually the backbone of any insurance industry, which actually, helps you in pricing your policies, and also measuring the risk in each policy. And data is a blood for it. So apart from the regulatory laws, I would say there's a lot of other laws which is very important for insurance sector. Like, you must be knowing that law of large numbers. And also know, like, insurance is one of the uh, pioneering sector which actually, like, implemented the IT applications even before the banks implemented IT. Implementation, insurance implemented the IT way back in 1950s and all. So even now, I would say that the insurance companies are using various sets of data. So I'm just taking you through the for your knowledge purpose, what type of data these people are using and all, which some of the things which you must be aware of this one. Like there are a lot of type of data. There are much more. It's very indicative list what I am showing you right now. It's you know about big data, so which is used to process large volumes of policy data, claims data, analysis, unstructured, unstructured, semi-structured data, which is more of like what you see in emails and all is like a semi-structured data. And we see the time-stamped data, which is like no, which is useful for processing claims, identifying frauds and all. Machine data, like no machinery policies, what data is getting generated from. There is IoT, Internet of Things, basically, no, where we use data which is generated from the machines, basically. Spatio-temporal data, which is very useful for like no identifying the location related details and all those things. And open data. Open data is a very big thing, actually. No, like even Government of India has a lot of open data. Like no, so you can actually they publish a lot of data related to open data. Some of the things which you may be using very regularly is like a weather data. Maybe when you go to the smartphones and all, you will see the weather data. What is it? These are all open data which is coming to you. And then we have dark data, which is like which is not being used regularly, but it is remaining in the systems of insurance companies. So that way it's a dark data which is not being used, but sometimes it helps a lot when it matters and all. We can actually dig down deep into the dark data to find out and to identify any frauds or something. And real-time data, which is very useful for designing insurance products, claim validations. There is a new technology which is upcoming is blockchain technology, which is more related to real-time data, and genomics data, which is like creating some revolution in health insurance policies. And translytic data is very important. Basically, it's more related to real-time settlements, blockchain, transaction analytics, both coming together, basically. Where I would say that some of the times, like lead management companies gives like no, they just do the transaction, or also it also gives you basically what is the chances of the closure. For example, like you must have even seen that in cricket matches, basically like when the Virat Kohli actually scores say 40 runs, it immediately publishes on statistics saying on analytics statistics saying that 80% of the time whenever Virat Kohli scores more than 40 in this ground, 80% chances that India has won, like that. So analytics come immediately after that the transaction or some event is happening on that one. So which is to make the life more interesting. That's where. So the point what I am trying to bring is that there are a lot of data. I have just listed only a few sets of data. Earlier, I would say that insurance company was focusing only on simple systems like policy management system and claim system. That's it. Initial and agency management system, only a few systems and all. But when the need grew, basically any insurance company started having more number of applications and all. Like I would say that typically an insurance company will have more than 50 applications, basically. So this is a slide what I wanted to show you. For example, I would say that you may see the two concentric circles on this one. I would say that this is my vision, basically how the entire ecosystem systems. I have just represented at very high level, but I am trying to explain this over here. Insurance company IT ecosystem, where you have a core system, which is typically like your policy admin system, claim system, agency system, and all. There are actually the second circle, which actually which represents over here. Basically the second circle over here, it represents basically some of the peripheral systems. The peripheral systems can be like which is interacting with the core system, but not actually like your marketing systems and all those things, lead management systems or vendor systems, vendor management systems. All those things actually takes care of all those peripheral systems, workflow system, which is connected to the core system. And there is a one more layer where we are finding here is like a public data interface, basically. where, for example, when you take the general insurance companies, they actually take care of the weather data because it plays very important role when issuing a policy. For example, if you are insuring a cricket match, basically, so they actually have to take some public data. What will happen on the specific day? Maybe they have to forecast. They have to actually study the previous year's data also on this one. So where you can actually understand and understand about those data, and then basically work accordingly to issue the policies. Now I am just visualizing the other side. When we come for this side, where the agent side, I'm sure that all the sales force, whether it is a broker or bank assurance or individual agents, basically, I would actually draw a similar system on the right hand side, where everybody will have at least one social media account, basically. What we mean is social media account is maybe a Facebook or Instagram or even a WhatsApp. Typically, somewhere everyone is having some sort of social media account. And what I would recommend is how we can build some more systems is basically, like there are tools and repository which will help you to develop some analytics on top of your social media. For example, I'll take you through that in the next slides, basically. So, and also every agent is also having the public data interface. So I would say that if I have to draw a parallel, an insurance company is having a core system which can be drawn a parallel equivalent to your social media account, basically. And second thing is that they have a peripheral system in the second layer, and where I would say that you build a system which most of the things are available for free also. You can use your social media to build the tools which can build a system for yourself to analyze, and both insurance company and yourself have both public data interface, which is very much available to, which is very common since it's a public data on the one. But now the point is that when we do some research analysis and actually connect these systems between the two layers, basically between the insurance company IT ecosystem and individual social ecosystem, basically it can do a lot of wonders. I am going to give you some tips in the following slides on that one. How basically how this initially, uh, if you look at, means before the like no implementation of cloud computing and all those things, the IT architecture was completely different for the insurance companies. Now it's more of cloud computing that has allowed an ocean of opportunities for system integration through application provide interfaces. So typically application provide interfaces, basically I would say that very simple real-time examples for individual agents they can see is that you might have recently seen in Facebook and all, where from Facebook you can actually click on something where it will lead you to the WhatsApp number, and uh, you may be seeing a lot of posts these days. So it is typically directly connecting your Facebook to the WhatsApp, so that if on seeing the post, if somebody wants to connect with you, by clicking the button, they can straight away reach to the WhatsApp screen and send you the messages that way and all. So all this is happening through the API. So various systems can talk to each other quickly. So that is the best advantage of the API technology. Now, as I told you, though the insurance company has a big team to develop, the IT team of the insurance company and the vendors, basically the big vendors, small vendors, IT companies, they actually dive deep in developing their systems, how to enable the interaction with various things and all. The agents at individual level also can develop some systems on their own, whether with with your IT knowledge or without IT knowledge, or in spite of having some IT knowledge, you can actually develop some systems on your own at free of cost, and that data can be used for improving your sales. That's where we are now going to focus. So here, what I am going to show you here is some of things like some of the tools. I'm not trying to promote these tools where you can actually do some Google, and you can actually find out what these tools do. Basically, what does these tools does is basically data in your Facebook or WhatsApp or something like that, they actually take access to that one and start analyzing about your post or the network, what they do, and all those things. Normally, they start with some of the free plans, basically, where you can actually use it. I don't know, some of you may be using it completely on this one. So I'm just giving you some examples like Buscamo, Vizia, Saif, Quintly, SparkToro, all those things. The plan is typically like this. What I would say is the agents basically know they can actually build something on their own, and it can be linked to the pages or relate to WhatsApp group of prospective customers. For example, you are putting a post and there are some likes, and you can analyze using this platform, and you may have your own customer list which you can actually share. How many people, what are the comments, what do they what is the response for this one, which you can actually do that one. And so that way and all, you can actually improve and increase. uh, I would say that mostly the social media, when like no I would say that most of us are using social media like a post office. That's one of the my concern, basically. Like when we see in WhatsApp group, I normally say that no, people just wanted to, they receive some jokes, messages, and all those things, they just copy it and post it in some other group, and from some other group you receive, you post it in this group. So it becomes like a post office. You are just serving like a post office. uh, Instead of that, what we can do is that everyone, if you use some analytical tools, you will come across some sort of good patterns. Maybe you may come across some good comments which you may want to broadcast completely. So the more we type in the social media, you are generating some knowledge, you are generating some sort of some interesting thoughts, maybe, which you may want to broadcast. So when instead of being just a post office, we can actually write some letters, we can create some creative things on this one related to insurance, and actually post it over there. So that's where we are working. So some of the sample charts which I am actually I just picked up from these tools, basically how what type of average engagement, and also know like basically it gives a lot of how many, for example, if you use Twitter, how many tweets are there, what is the response level, how many were retweeted, all those things they give on this one. And it doesn't require any great training. In case if you want to have some training and all, if you go to some of the tools also, they actually train you over a YouTube or some videos, they actually do that one. And for a starters level, most of the things are just free plans, basically, where you can actually use this one to take it forward and all. And now I want to come to the main topic here, where the theories of insured data and insurance closure cycles. This is the main part where I thought I'll just focus a little bit over there. Typically, like when you see that, I want to just bring two things, some thought-provoking aspects related to the data and insurance. I don't want to get into some of the things which are very related to how to cross-sell, upsell, and all those things, which is related to products, basically, which I'll cover a little later. Here, where I was thinking is that, like, there is as insurance is more related to network, basically. There is a theory, basically, like every person in this world knows other person within 6 layers. For example, I have to meet Donald Trump. I can meet him within 6 levels, basically. Maybe I have a friend, that's friend's friend, that friend's friend. Within 6 friends network, I should be able to reach Donald Trump. That's the thing. So anyone, no one is a stranger in the world, basically. And typically, like what you can do is that, why we are not, that you must have experience in some marriage halls, basically. When we go to a marriage hall of a friend's marriage or relatives marriage, you may find that some other person is appearing, their known face, whom you have not met for a long time. That time you will realize, I know this guy. Okay, how do we know this guy? Then that guy will say, I am related to this guy, maybe bride side or groom side. So we will find that, no, okay, we are related to each other somewhere, or we studied in the same college. So somewhere, like, no, there are no strangers, basically. Everywhere they can be connected, like in corona traceability matrix, like you can trace from where it is coming. And also, likewise, every person in this world can be traced back on that one. So every person, I would say that it is so you want to sell a policy or an insurance company want to sell to a specific segment of people. Basically, it all depends on how you build your database, how you are organizing it, to find out the connections. That's where and all. That is one thing which I thought of telling. Second thing is the use of a Fibonacci series and its application in insurance. I would say that this is a theory. Basically, no, it's not yet proved. So that's why it's a theory. But I would say that insurance is more about follow-ups. There is a study basically now for closing any sales. Normally, they say that it takes almost 12 to 13 visits to close a sale, any type of sale, basically. So it takes 12 to 13 visits to close a sale. So when it comes to insurance, it's much more higher, basically because you are the agents are playing much higher roles. Basically, as I told you in the first slide, like a medical, legal, financial, every role you are playing on that one. Sometimes it may take more time also to close the sale on that one. So it requires more follow-up, and after a sale also you require follow-up for upselling, cross-selling. So I would say that no, like this is a thought basically like Fibonacci series. Basically, like what is the Fibonacci series is more about like the sequence where no numbers starting with 0 followed by 1, and each number is actually the sum of the previous number, that number and previous number. Like for example, you take a 0 and 1, and then 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, and uh, like 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 3 8, 8 plus 3 8 plus 5 13, and all those. This is a Fibonacci series. What is the relevance for this Fibonacci series? Basically, what do they say is that apart from after when you do the ratio, like 1 by 0 is infinity, 1 by 1 is 1, and 2 by 1 is 2. Like you start dividing, like 3 by 2 is 1.5. Going forward, it starts moving to a golden ratio of 1.618. That's what they say. It is basically called a golden ratio, and they find that lot of what you call impact it is making in the nature. For example, even the floral petals are having that golden ratio, and basically somewhere it is used in the stock market, this ratios and all, and cryptographies they use some ratios, and even in the musics basically like there are some articles related to these ratios 1.618 typically. Okay, now having said this, how we can use this basically in insurance? That's where the question comes here. So I would say that where we are using here, uh, here I'm just trying to connect you with the for example, there is one 6 degrees of Wikipedia. There is a page called 6 degrees of Wikipedia. So I would say that you just go ahead and for example, I have just given an example over here where we are saying that no, what is the relationship between how can I find the network between say Salman Khan and Mamata Banerjee? You just go to this site 6 degrees of Wikipedia, and then just connect between these two people, where you will find that here where what you are seeing over here. So it is showing that Salman Khan has a connection with Amir Khan, and Amir Khan has some sort of connection with Mamata Banerjee directly. And similarly, Salman Khan can approach Mithun Chakraborty, and Mithun Chakraborty has got some links with Mamata Banerjee that we know. So this is one simple example I have given, but this has been drawn from Wikipedia. That's one because it is more related to text mining, where they are just trying to find the relationship between based on the keywords over here. IT insurance companies, they can also develop similar tools, or basically even agents, they can actually do some tools basically, and they can actually connect. What is the connection between, for example, I closed a sale maybe in Mysore 2 months back. Some person maybe from say water board, state water board, I just closed a sale, and now I am approaching somebody in say another utility, say like no electricity distribution discom, with that one. So if I want to draw that engineer and this engineer who work in two different departments, how they can be connected if you do some sort of parallels, basically you will be able to find relationship that way and all. So this example, what I am showing here is nothing but how technology has evolved to connect between two people on this one. That's what we are trying to show over here, where insurance company can also use the same techniques, use the same database, or even the lead management companies, where they can show the relationships, how one person is related to another through what degrees basically. So that way and all we can actually try to solve this one. Similarly, what I am trying to showing is that, as I told you earlier, it is more related to the follow-up on this one. I am trying to say is, for example, you sold an insurance policy. How can you use the Fibonacci series, like no, to improve your sales? You can't be sending regularly a mail or a message to your client after you close a sale. It will become a nuisance for the client. He will become more irritated on this one. So there are techniques like how we can use this basically, like maybe day zero you like do some sale of insurance policy, do it. So day one you are just doing a phone call, and the same day you are just sending SMS, and the day two you are just sending some important phone numbers to contact in case of emergency, just to keep the things live, like no just not only thank note. And day three, like no, you're sending some mails of combo products, and then day five sending some greeting card, small gift. So if you see that the gaps keep on increasing, so you are not constantly poking to your customer, it keeps on increasing. So after day 8 there is a gap of 5 days. After 13th day it is actually no 21, so at almost 8 days you are just leaving after the 13 days. So it keep on. So what does it mean is that basically initially you are just reminding the customer about that one, then you are reducing the frequency in the frequency of a Fibonacci series basically. And believe me, they say that many places such type of things works very well, because they say that most of the nature is following the Fibonacci series basically. So that way and all we can try. I have just given you some examples on this one, maybe you can take a screenshot. This some sort of thoughts came. And typically like I was just given for 1 year, so that you ensure basically after say 6 months or 5 months after that, send one thanking customer like day 144. You are just sending a thanking customer for initial purchase and updating the results that you are aware about in the market. For example, if a customer has invested in ULIP plans, share some insights about financial markets. For example, like right now due to Corona pandemic, how these markets are going ups and downs. Maybe the insurance company can send a note to the customers about it. So there is a flow where you can actually keep on engaging with the customers basically, so that people don't forget about the insurance and also the customer, and also about the insurance company that we enroll. At the same time, we are not again and again poking on this one so that they get irritated on this one. So that's what and all. So typically I'm coming to the last part of this one, where I am saying that what are the important things which an insurance agent should keep in mind is more of a, like I would say that, like he should keep on the KYC. I would say that three things: know your customer, and know the product, and know the context. These three things which the customer should be aware of it. Why know the customer? It is not about getting the what we call as what is that your PAN card or Aadhaar card. Not related to that one. It is more related to his age, profession, stages in life cycle, his seriousness towards insurance buying insurance, financial literacy levels, savings behavior, plans to meet emergencies, social support, family support, because no two people are same, though they may be working in the same company, same age group, but the liabilities may be differing on this one. So that way and all, we can actually know more about the customer on this one. So how we can enable, mainly because certain things are being done by the insurers themselves, where they can focusing on this one. And second thing, what I insist is more related to reading the case studies of successful insurance people. That is very important, so that you can actually relate. If it is available in the social media, you can even share with them. And enrolling insurance professional courses, where they will teach you the basics of insurance. Relationship management values, basically, like acting like a virtual relationship manager, and like how to build the confidence such that you are available anytime for any help for them. Uh, enhance higher listening skills, use social media tools and all those things, where you can actually, when we use social media tools, when we are meeting some person, say in Mysore or even Nagpur, where you can go to the social book page and then Facebook page, where you can read more about what are his interest levels. Maybe he may be interested in cricket, maybe liking more related to cricket. So whenever you meet him, you can talk to build the bonding that way. So that is more related to know the customer, know the products. I would say, in my experience, I would say that many people do the mis-selling for achieving the targets and all. That won't fly for a long time. I would say that there are a lot of products, as I told earlier, there are a lot of products, but there is only one customer before an agent. So the lead agencies use machine learning algorithms to map the profile with the products. Like no, lot of things can be added further. Basically, no, like related case studies can be taken along with by the agent uh, near to news items. For example, like uh, during this Corona time, basically, no, to close a sale, the insurance company can supply based on the GIS location. They can send the real-time news to the agents located in that area, basically, so that no, it makes more relevant for an agent to talk when going on that one. Some statistics, analytics, what is happening over there, all those things we can do that one. And similarly, like mis-selling, we can actually avoid on that one. And know the context. That is the third one. Where I am saying is that context in the sense, basically the macro and micro aspects. When we are talking about macro aspects, is that when the economy is down and people are talking about the sustenance and also how the jobs are going to go away and all, talking about a great plan will not help at that point of time. Maybe we may have to talk about, like, small products where they can buy on this one. Maybe we can talk about a small group insurance plan, that way to start with, to the employer. Then we can actually go for a cross-selling or upselling that way. Similarly, like, no, I'm just giving you an example. If a person is working in travel sector, middle level role, is looking for a ULIP policy for high premium for long term, it may not be, though he may be willing to take it up, but it may be, we can actually, looking at their profile, we can actually go ahead and suggest that to go for some other plan, maybe a term insurance to start with, or maybe an endowment product instead of a ULIP policy, to start with a different level, so that they can always upsell later on. That's where and all. So last one is more related to mind modeling. You must be heard about this data science, data scientist, and all those things. I would always say that, based on my experience, everybody is a data scientist, basically, because I would say that every day a brain processes a lot of data. It processes a lot of data, and it also predicts. For example, looking at the sky today evening, we say that nobody needs to tell us. Looking at the sky, when it is cloudy, we'll say that okay, the rain will come. Or why we are able to say, mainly because our eyes are watched in the past, that so many days like this cloud happens, it's very cloudy, within an hour rain has happened on that one. So the brain records, it actually calmly records all the information, and actually it predicts on that one. If every sales, insurance sales, or anything happens because of your pre-recording. So everybody is data scientists. It is actually natural intelligence. And I would say that the artificial intelligence profession has come up in such a lot manner, such that we are now forgetting the importance of natural intelligence, and we are actually emphasizing more on artificial intelligence. Though it is very much required, because artificial intelligence processes a lot of data, but at the same time, everyone can focus on processing data what we have within our access, try to extract more, and connect to the systems, bigger systems later on, through various technologies, so that we can actually juggle and find out some new discoveries that way and all. So that way and all, it is very important. Only thing is that we don't know how to structure. That is what we are doing. For example, like, what we can do for this mind modeling is, first thing I would say that prepare some case studies of your own. Typically, like, if you're an agent, you must be closing some deals and all. You keep writing on this one, like, what are the sales what you closed on that one, without revealing the identity of the customer. You can actually talk about, this is what, this is his profession, this is what and all. In case if you have helped them in any claims, basically, for example, I helped a friend who was not very much willing to take a health insurance policy. recently. So I have one friend who is an agent, another friend who is a some CEO of a company who didn't believe of the insurance. Then I told him, you take a insurance. He took a policy for 10 lakh rupees health insurance, and he paid the premium that day. The next day morning, his son met with an accident and took to Fortis, and he got 1 lakh rupees claim immediately, health insurance claim on that one. It's a good case study. Basically, I told that agent, write it as a case study so that next time when you go, you take the, because that CEO was very much grateful. And I told that you tell that, I told the agent, you take his number. Basically, in case of anybody you are going, you refer his number, saying that no, you just talk to them, how it helped on that one. So you build your own case studies instead of relying only on insurance company training. You just rely on creating your own case studies. Whatever you are able to write in Facebook or something, don't be just a post office. Just keep on writing on this one. So it may be useful. For example, I don't know how many people are attending this seminar, but it is getting recorded. It may be helpful in the long run. Basically, not to refer to this as a repository, becomes like a case study on this one. Or nobody may even watch this later on, but it is a record which we are creating, which will be useful for that one. See networking aspects through media tools. I told you some of the media tools which I showed you, which you can do that one. Or if you are not good in any of these things, the best way is that just keep an Excel sheet. This is a basic thing which you can do that one. Keep noting the dates, whom you met, what type of age, what type of what was their expectation, and all those things. You keep on noting it down, or even not even in Excel sheet, just keep noting in a pen and paper. That's enough, more than enough. After some time, when you are actually going through the same thing, you will find that there is a data scientist inside you, where the where basically you will be able to identify the patterns, what is happening over here, and how to overcome that one. So that's how big deals have got closed in the past, even before the invention of computers, that way and all. So that way and all, it is very important for you to just go through, create a data. Don't be the post office, create your own data. And if not, means you go back to your insurance company. If you're an insurance company, try to create an avenue for creating data. First of all, a lot of data stored in the brain, which is actually has to be documented on this one. Then only a lot of things will come out, very good patterns come out. That I call it as a mind modeling, that way and all. So the last portion is like, no, be a virtual relationship manager. So all happens through bonding. It is very critical for the channels to create a bonding, and bonding happens by sharing information. If you look at your close friends, how the bonding happen, it's mainly because sharing important data that are mutually beneficial. Otherwise, we won't be good friends on that one. So share data, and with the insurance being data centric industry, it's important for channels to share data and information regularly with clients to create a bonding. And as insurance is a continuous selling exercise, the more the bonds become stronger using the data, the more the sale and quick closure cycles. That's very important for the agency and all those things. So this with this, I just complete my webinar. Any doubts, you can actually write it to me at jp@nanobee.in, and I'll be very happy to answer you on this one and help you in any manner on this one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. JP. Thank you. So I do have some questions for you. The
Yeah.
first question is from Priya, and she says, in first world countries, using data from Fitbits and health tracking devices to market and generate offers is already a common practice. Do you
Yeah.
think that will happen in India and other developing countries?
Yes, it is about to happen. If you look at means, there is an app called Pineapple, not Apple. It's a Pineapple app in South Africa,
Hmm.
where they are issuing policies for a small time period. For example, now during the COVID time, we are not taking out our cars. Basically, what are we doing now is basically, like we are just keeping about paying premium. So there are policies which are emerging right now to cover only the period what you are going to use, that way and all. So these IoT based plans are going to come. Similarly, like already some companies are issuing policies where if you are a member of a gym, though it is not measurable, basically if you have a gym membership and all, they're giving some discounts on that one. So in Fitbit and all, where you can actually every day it is being recorded and it is actually uploaded to the insurance. That's what I was talking to you in the concentric circles basically. So individuals are having some systems, and as long there are a lot of things which you can explore in insurance technology parlance, basically that data can be loaded to the insurance system data, insurance companies data. A lot of analysis can happen on that one. So lot many things are yet to happen in insurance sector, and already in some sort of initiatives are being taken in India. It is yet to come, and I think within a couple of years, a lot many small time policies will come. In the sense, like I was talking about parametric insurance, basically. So all those things will evolve in the market, and we'll be able to adopt it. Yes.
All right. Okay, then the next question is from Siddharth. He says, how will augmented and virtual reality reform the insurance industry?
Uh, I would say that it is yet to happen, not much on this one. I would say that no, like in terms of some sort of a training and all those things, currently it is being used, augmented and virtual reality. But a lot many things are yet to happen. As I told you earlier, it is more related to bonding, first of all. Uh, if you look at even now, today, I don't know how many people read Economic Times today. There is an article saying that health insurance, it has reached to the level of last year's quarter, mainly because of the COVID. It has reached basically. A lot many purchases are happening due to COVID on health insurance right now. So right now, this is happening through only the fear, basically. The augmented reality and virtual reality, maybe no, we have to create some sort of like no some sort of scenarios to make the people to feel that how it actually looks, what are the actual losses and all those things. But it's the next level. The first step is to create minimal human bonding. Basically, as I told you earlier, we are focusing more on artificial intelligence, forgetting about our natural intelligence. So first thing is to focus on this one, that way and all.
All right. Then the next question is from Prateek. He says, with digital disruption in place, what sort of changing trends are you seeing, and what can we expect from the insurance sector?
I would say that basically, no, like let us take an example of like how the changes have happened in telecom industry, or in terms of a broadband, in terms of I would say that in terms of even banking sector and all. Onboarding is very important for the people. I would say that insurance industry is still lagging. It is limping when it is not able to catch up with the speed. I won't blame the sector right now, because as I told you in the first slide, it is more related to the actually no, they have to collect data of not only very simple financial thing, medical aspects, all those things and all, and they have to collect a lot many documents on this one. So, but with the improvement in the technology, basically disruptive technologies are emerging, where the, for example, know if I want to know the credit worthiness of a person, all the insurance company needs to do is that create an API interface between that and CIBIL system. It actually calculates that one. We have worked with some banks where no, they just key in the details, they immediately come to know the credit worthiness, how much loan we can allocate. So it actually touch base with the CIBIL system, it touch base with some other income tax repository, file details and all those things. No need for the customers to come back on the income tax returns at physical copies and all those things. So this is yet to evolve. So I think fairly we have reduced the time frame through the straight through processing systems and all. It has come down a lot, but I'm sure that in quickly in like no in the next 1 or 2 years, we should be able to issue the policy like no, just like how banks does. Just you enroll, you just pay the minimal KYC documents you give, they issue immediately the checkbook and everything, and the ATM code also to do this one. Same way we should be able to achieve the speed. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I don't see any more questions coming in, so I think this is a wrap on the session. Thank you so much, Dr. JP, for a wonderful session and for giving us your time. Everyone who's joined in, you can reach Dr. JP further if you have any further questions, and he'll be happy to address them. Again, sir, we hope to have you back again at another
Sure.
session, another engagement on insurance, and we will definitely keep in touch with you for any other further insurance insights. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.